just using PowerPoint. So I created all of them from scratch, and at the end, I'll give you a website where you can actually download the templates. And there's links to Jing videos on how you can customize them or use them in the classroom. So the first one is Jeopardy! So there are a lot of Jeopardy games out there on the web, but I find that they're either not functional enough or they're too complex. They use Java, and they've embedded like score sheets and timers and all of that, so they're kind of difficult to use.
Isn't Jeopardy a copyrighted name or not?
Yeah, it is. This one, I've changed it for like the one that I have on the web, so this is just showing the format. And you can actually download this font. It's called GeoParody or something like that. So the first slide here are the categories. So you can put in your own categories up here, and then each of these amounts are clickable. So the students say which one they want. You go to a category. It says a camera shot taken at a large distance, capturing the entire human form, for example. So if you have a large class, you could just go around. So I could say, Irene, which amount do you want? She could risk it and go for a 500, but if she gets it wrong, she doesn't get the points. Or you can go for the easy one and go for a 100 and hopefully you get that one. And then on each slide, there's this little image on the bottom right to go back. So now you can see that the 200 has changed colors. So you know which ones you clicked on and which ones are still open. So the only one that's a little bit different is this one. I have a daily double. So whoever clicks on this one or chooses that one then gets to kind of wager how many points they're willing to gain or lose. So once they've said how much they want to wager, you just click on the box and it'll disappear. So you go about playing the game, and then when all of the questions have been asked, you just click on the little question mark in the bottom, and it's time for Final Jeopardy! So you just make your wager, and then the question will show up when you click on it. So another added functionality.
Do you provide the answers?
Yes. This is film vocab. Don't know any of it, so I couldn't tell you the answer. I've got them all if you're really curious. So there's also a way that you can use buzzers. If you want to have separate teams, you can have students actually buzz in with their answer.
A working knowledge of the iClickers. So you just want to open up the program, and it's going to ask you to start the session, and you'll see your little dashboard up at the top here. And you're really only using the clickers to see who buzzes in first for an answer. So our first slide here is the title slide, and then we just want to go on to this one. So the first team would choose which question they want. So let's say they want shots for 100. You would just click on the number 100 and it would take you to the question. Now you can hit start to allow them to start buzzing in and stop, but I prefer to use the instructor clicker. So you can look online to find an instruction manual on how to use the clickers and how to set up your instructor's clicker. So instead of hitting the start and stop key, I can actually just hit the letter A on my clicker, and that's going to open the poll. And then if I want to stop it, I just hit the letter A again. And when you're playing Jeopardy, you want to hit the display key. This chart over here is how you're going to see who buzzes in first. So I'm going to read this question, a shot that contains 2 characters within the frame. And as soon as I'm done reading it, I would open up the poll. And then the students can buzz in if they know the answer. So you can see that the letter A column showed up first, and that means that Team A buzzed in first, so they would get to answer the question. If they got it correct, then they would gain 100 points. If they got it wrong, then they would lose 100 points. And then if you want to go back to the board, just click on the image in the bottom right-hand corner at any time. And let's say they got that one right. They want shots for 200. You just click on the next one. You can see that 100 is a different color now, so you know not to click on that one again. And again, I'm just going to say a camera shot taken at a large distance capturing the entire human form. And then you can see that the graph disappears, so then the students know that's their cue to put in their answers. So you can see all 3 teams answered, but E showed up first. So you really have to keep your eye on this graph. As soon as you start the poll, watch this graph to see which letter shows up first, and that's the team that gets to answer.
So for the clickers, what I did was I just put a piece of Scotch tape, because I don't want to draw on the clickers, and then I drew a little arrow. So Team A always pushes the A button when they want to answer. So if they know, they push A, and then all you have to do is keep an eye on the little graph in the top to see which one showed up first. So that's a way to use buzzers, which aren't very easy to come by these days.
So it's not easy to come by the buzzers?
The buzzers, yeah.
Oh.
These we have all around campus, but buzzers are difficult to find.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How did you set up the link between that big frame button and the different slides of your PowerPoint?
Sure. It's actually just a hyperlink. So if you have your text, you can right-click it and go to hyperlink. I already did it, so it's going to say edit hyperlink. And you want to do a place in this document, and then you can just choose the slide that you want it to go to. So that's lights for 100, so I want it to go to the lights 100 slide. And then you just say OK. It's going to be defaulted probably, so that when you click on it, it's not going to change colors like I have. So you actually have to go into Design and Colors and create new theme colors. And then down here you can see there's one color for hyperlink, and then there's a different color for followed hyperlink. Most of the color themes default to have both of these the same color, so you will need to change it so that once you click on it, it turns into a different color.
This is inside PowerPoint?
Mm-hmm.
Really? And the grid?
I just learned something.
This image that we see right now,
Yep.
that looks like little tiles, is that
Yeah.
something you designed?
Yep. Insert shapes. It's just this little bevel shape.
Uh-huh.
And then once you create one, just copy and paste it a whole bunch of times.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
That's it.
And then inside each of the shape you put the hyperlink.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I get it.
So if I were to accidentally click on the shape and not on the words, it's just going to go to the next slide rather than the hyperlink. So you do have to make sure you click on the words, or you can hyperlink the shape in the back and the words if you're shaky.
And now you said you downloaded the genre and questions and answers from somewhere?
No.
Then you just made up all these
I
questions?
mean, all the questions, yeah.
Oh,
Each
you poor
slide,
thing.
you can see at the bottom of each slide there's a little citation for the book. They're all from the introductory film textbook we use on campus, so they're straight from the glossary in the back. Are there any more questions about Jeopardy? I'm going to move on to...
You say you have a jing on how you put this together?
Yep.
No, to her.
Yeah, I'm going to give you, I have cards too that you can take away. It's just MickiHarrington.com. If you don't know my name, I can give you a card.
If I could see this could be major.
I haven't played this one, but I did play Family Feud with the student workers in the library, and they just had a blast. So this one I kind of transformed to be Science Feud. So what happens, this one is fun because you can play even with like a huge class, as long as you split it up into 2 teams. So I could say, like Irene's first, she could guess, and then if she gets it correct, then move on to the next person on the team, so on and so forth. And then what happens?
But, okay, so if I went first in Family Feud and my answer was they have cells,
Right.
how do you know if it's
Oh, yeah.
up there or not, or what to... Is that a good question?
It is a good question.
Thank you.
It's helpful if you print out one of these. So this is exactly what's up there, just with the boxes deleted, so I know exactly where each one is. So if you said cells, then I would click on number 2. So in Family Feud, there's like the face-off to see which team gets this question. So actually it's really simple. What I did was I just put a pen in the middle of the table, put my hand on the pen, and I said, most biologists agree that all organisms share these 5 fundamental characteristics. I pull my hand away, and whoever grabs the pen first gets the answer. So it's another buzzer alternative. So, and then, so if Irene Teams gets it, she says cells, and then I would move on to Peg, and Peg could get to guess. And then if you guys answer incorrectly,
Very mean.
so if your team gets 3 X's, then it would move on to the other team, and they get a chance to steal. So they would get the points. But if they got it wrong, then you guys would get your original points.
And again, is this a PowerPoint?
Mhm.
And how do you're going to show us how you attach the sounds?
Yep.
Okay.
So these
This is too fun.
are all the same thing. So this is another one of the biological classifications of life. And it's a little difficult to set up, but you can make it so that usually when you click, it does one animation. You click, it does the second one in order. But with this one, you can do any order you want. So if I wanted to click number 1, number 6, then number 4, then number 5, I can do any order that I want. And I'll show you how to do that. So then there's a double round. So these ones are worth 2 points. There's a triple round. Those are worth 3 points. The very final round in Family Feud is a little too complex for PowerPoint, and it doesn't really add anything special as far as learning or assessment. So I just left that out. But I mean, you can probably, using the slides I've already created, you could probably make one if you really wanted the final round.
You know what's happening in my brain right now?
What?
I'm going, I will never trash PowerPoint ever again.
Yeah,
When it's used correctly.
Yeah.
Because I never thought PowerPoint could do this.
So to do sounds, it's the same hyperlink. You just right-click an image. So this I just went to insert a shape, and I just inserted the X. And then right-click, hyperlink, and then you can see down here it says play sound. And then it actually gives you some options. But if you just Google free sound effects or free buzzer sound, there are a lot of websites that have like compiled free sound effects to use. So I found a buzzer one. So then all you have to do is find it on your computer. So then there's my buzzer sound. It's great for 8 right?
This would be great for 8 a.m. classes.
Which So if you want to make it so that you can click them in any order, you do the animation, custom animation. And then once you've added it, you just go to Effect Options. And then it's here under Triggers. So instead of animating it as part of a click sequence where you're going in a certain order, you just start the effect on the click of whatever shape you want. So I've grouped all these together. So they're actually separate. I made an orange rectangle, I made a little black line, I made a blue oval, and then I made a number. But I grouped them all together. So that one's group 69. So on the click of group 69, I want it to disappear. So you just have to use triggers. And I think that's it for Feud. All right, questions about Feud? No? Okay. On to Theater Pyramid.
I feel like I have to go watch TV, try to figure out what these shows are.
So this is based on $100,000 pyramid, $25,000 pyramid. They had a bunch of different amounts of stuff.
Western Theater.
So for this one, basically what happens, you would have partners. So let's say I'm one partner, I'm facing you, and Peg's facing me. So we decide as a team what category we want. So the idea for the categories is kind of allude to what they're about, but not give specifically. For example, if we wanted Let's Play House, it's English Renaissance Playhouses.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So what would happen is, as the instructor, you would just click starting the first one. But if you want to actually time it, you can do 30 seconds, set it. All right, Peg, give me to guess Red Bull. So that's basically how it goes.
Energy drink.
Right, energy drink.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you can go back to the original at any time. You've got a new category. So basically you want to go through like this. But let's say after 10 seconds, Peg and I decide, focus is not worth getting because I'm just not getting it. You can just click on it, get my mouse back.
Now this is my area of expertise. What is it? What am I supposed to do when I play this game?
Oh, so she's got her back to the screen,
Yeah.
gel is revealed, and Peg would have to say a word not using gel, and
it's
until
like
she
blind
guesses
card
it.
So
kind of
she's
thing, you
like,
have to try to
if you
figure
take a
out.
picture and it's fuzzy, it means it's out of. And I'm like, film.
So it's for this. Oh, I get it. This is fun. Okay, I
So
get it.
if you pass it, you can click on the word and the number will show back up.
Okay, sorry, I don't watch these things.
So let's say
Okay, good.
in the back.
Okay. Go with my dog, but it's also it's a
So if they
template.
know your dog, so you don't have to say it as associated with
Yeah, I can say, what's the
lighting.
name of one
You
of
can
my
give
dogs?
any clue that you
Same
want.
door. It's actually a metal template you put in an instrument to create shapes when you project lights. I could also say that. And it would
So let's say we got these, then we know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Peg and I got 6 points, and then it would be on to the next partnership.
Good job.
So they would get to choose their own category.
I'm not thinking that's right.
And then at the
What's
very
the name
end,
of this game? Pyramid?
Pyramid.
this is my favorite one. So let's say it was between Peg and I, and then Kathy and Irene, and Peg and I won. So again, you choose who's going to be the guesser and who's going to give the clue. So if I'm the guesser, again, I'm going to be facing away. So this one you don't choose, you just go in order. So you start with 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. And this one's just backwards. So I can't see the screen. There's a category behind me. I know there's a category, but I don't know what category it is. So Peg's just going to start listing things in the category. So she would say, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet. I'd be like, Shakespeare plays. So then we get that one. The instructor goes on to the next one. So, Aeschylus, Great playwrights. Just keep going like that. And then, again, we can pass, and you can click on it, and it'll go back. So in the end, let's say these are the ones that I got.
All right, we got you.
We could do Maria.
So if this is like what we got in the end, then I would just add up how many points. And as the teacher, you can say, you know, if the partnership who wins gets at least 500 points, then we'll have a pizza party, or I'll give everyone an extra point on their test, or something like that. So you can give incentives, so the whole class is kind of rooting for the partnership in the end. And again, for this one, for the countdown, the final one is a 60-second round. So just hit start, and then you can pause it if you want to, but for the games, you don't really need to.
Does it buzz when it's done?
No, this one doesn't.
So you just have to look at it.
And you don't have the music to go through your minutes like we do.
That's true. You could probably find some Creative Commons timer waiting music.
And so you created this slide, I guess.
This one was difficult because each of those little dots, that was on me. I just copied and pasted all those little yellow dots. So,
Wow.
every single one of those little yellow dots. Well, and once I got a few, I copied the whole block and then pasted a line of it. So it got easier.
Well, it's very effective.
Yeah,
But
great. If you
I
want
liked
to
it.
Google $100,000 pyramid, you can kind of see. But here's a depressing thought, and I apologize ahead of time. None of your students were alive in the 80s, so they don't know what it looked like. So it's okay.
You could have used the food pyramid. They wouldn't have known.
No clue.
Yeah.
They've never seen it. They've never heard of it. They're not really sure what the 80s are all about. So. So for these ones, you have to do 2 effects. So you have to set a trigger so when you click on it, it disappears, but then you have to set another trigger so that when I click on Greek playwrights, the 100 shows back up. So you kind of have to do 2 triggers, so one disappears and one comes back. All right. So
What
that
was the one
pyramid.
that show back up? Oh, in case you didn't.
In case you pass, yep. And then if we finished all the categories and we still had time, we could go back and guess the ones that we passed on originally.
Do you give students instruction about what the game is about? Are they written, or you explain it before you
I
start?
explain it beforehand. I actually sometimes do like a practice slide. So for Family Feud, for example, I just did a practice one so people could get the feel of it. But for those ones, they've seen them on TV. It's really just the $100,000 pyramid most people haven't seen. So the last one is a simple one.
This is a concentration.
This is called reveal. So I'm just going to keep hitting this enter button. That's all I'm doing is hitting enter. You guys, as soon as you think you know what the image is, just shout it out.
Oh, I love that. It's a balloon.
Yeah, it's water.
It's the owl for the, it's the owl for the campus.
What?
No, it's an umbrella with what?
It's an umbrella, that's right.
With
So-
what though?
Oh, it's a
rain puddle and shadow. Okay.
Exactly. So I like this scheme for foreign languages, for example. I mean, it doesn't really have much pertinence in the classroom to your students to know the word umbrella. But maybe if you're in French, then you would have to say,
Parapluie, which is a beautiful word.
Gorgeous.
Parapluie.
and then to go to the next slide, you just click this arrow, and then it'll show you the whole
Oh,
images.
that's a parapluie.
So the next one. Ready?
Yeah.
French? Don't speak French, it's a
Mouse.
rat.
A squirrel. A rat.
Rat.
A rat.
Mouse.
A mouse, yeah.
A mouse.
So,
And a little mouse.
sorry. The next slide.
Oh, she's so cute.
So for this one,
Mouse.
you're clicking enter, and they are just going in sequence because you want to decide.
I don't like them in my house.
This
I
is
also
very
think
good
they're cute.
language fun, you know?
Yeah.
You had to create the little beveled squares again.
Yep, yeah, just create like 5 of them and then just copy and paste the whole line all the way down.
You could also do that, like I teach tools, and I could have like, you know,
Yep.
you need to know the names of tools, and
Yep,
you
or
could do
you
that.
could identify species of animals
This
or
was- could be
plants
really
or
fun for me.
geology.
Yeah.
And then you had to randomize what order the
Yep, so
revealed it.
what I did was I just took a square and moved it out of the way and thought, yeah, that doesn't really give it away, I'll do that one first. Or I moved another one out of the way. So I saved the handle for last because that's a really good giveaway. Once, if people don't guess it up until the handle, as soon as they see the handle, everyone guesses. So, and you don't have to do all of them because, I mean, everyone's going to guess after you do all of
So
these
wanna do
ones.
that one for my 10th class.
So that is the last
Do we have
show.
another picture?
No, that's it. So if you're editing these, if you go over to the side here, you can right click and say duplicate slide, so you can make as many as you want. And I'm just going to go back.
Aren't you glad you stayed here?
Oh, yeah. This
I'm
is so
very
much fun.
glad,
This
yeah.
is so much fun. But mostly, I can't believe you. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because of the detail and the attention to detail and the, I don't know, I mean, a lot of it, you know, all those little yellow things, it's great. But would I do that? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
Well, you don't have to.
She's been doing this since she was an undergraduate.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
So on my website, it's just a blog, so each one of the games is a different post. So if you wanted to play Pyramid, you can just download the PowerPoint. So you don't have to know all the tricks. All you have to do is know how to click a word and change it to a different word, and then you can just put your own questions.
Oh, really?
So she's created templates.
Yep.
Oh.
So let's say you're
That's
on
even
Jeopardy. You do this click highlight it and say.
Oh, this is perfect. I didn't know that part.
Answer.
That's true,
Oh,
it really
okay.
is true.
What's the address?
We're not creating those little buttons all by ourselves.
Oh, yeah. oh,
So I will take a card.
I'm just gonna put a pile right here.
That is just really interesting.
Micki, what do you have like other games? Like I'm just thinking you were mentioning the like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or any like or what is the I don't know. There are a lot of games I don't like. Who's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah, great show.
No,
Not
these
most-
are the only ones that I have.
Okay,
I
okay.
also
love
did.
Smarter Than a
I
Fifth
don't know if you've ever seen like those choose your own ending stories, like the Goosebumps books.
Choose your own ending.
Yep,
Yeah,
choose your own
yeah,
adventure.
yeah.
So I did one of those with PowerPoint in the library for training. So it says a patron comes to the desk and they want to check out a green bike. What do you do? And it says, we don't have green bikes. Go away. You click on that and it says, no, you're rude. And then you go back. So you kind of have to navigate through the circulation desk and hope that you make the right decisions. So I'm going to be putting that one on the blog. I just haven't finished it yet.
I really, really want to use that for my tech class, that image one.
Yeah, yeah.
I could use
I want the Jeopardy. You really ought to copyright this.
Oh, no.
Haven't already done so.
But you should probably change the name.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Jeopardy is.
Now there is a good point.
It was just quiz show. That's what it's called. Quiz show. It's just not quite as catchy.
Well, but that's how it started actually, historically.
Yeah.
Christian.
Are there any other questions about one of these specifically, or kind of the tools that I use? I'm also going to be adding a blog post that's just PowerPoint toolkit, so it just kind of gives you like a Jing video on how to do the little things like
I
triggers.
love that. So you're
things
going to
like
have a
that.
Jing video on
Yep.
that, yeah.
So that's all
I
at,
like that.
at your website.
Yes.
So if I go to your website, I'll be able to see these different links.
Yeah, I just made it. I had a different portfolio, so I just made the blog a couple days ago. So all that's on there are these. So you don't have to sift through anything. Let's
Cool,
go.
very cool.
That's it.
But if you want to hire her, you know, for resumes there too.
If you put it about, then you'll.
You can hire, after she's done working for me, you can hire her to put your game together.